Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Society of Owls podcast. We're not numbering this because, things have changed a little bit. It's been a long time since we've done this. It's me, Amascut, and I'm here with a.
Hello, it's Avernic. That kind of cut off a little bit, but
Uh-oh. Oh well, I'll just press my push to talk button
push to
longer.
talk. It does things.
Yeah, so we've been gone for a while because my computer's broken, and it's still broken, and I'm using a replacement right now. It's not very high quality, and so I was never really able to get much of a recording done, but Runefest happened, and even though we completely missed Anachronia, we're gonna kind of try and cover everything we can right.
Yeah, damn, this must be like 6 months you've not had a computer.
It's been 3.
3, okay. Seems like forever.
Yeah, I got completely fried at my workplace, and it's been taking forever to get the proper parts to replace everything.
We'll claim that's the excuse we've been gone so long, but
It's a lack of updates except for Anachronia. But
yeah, we kind of just missed Anachronia. Not that I haven't been enjoying it. I think most times I'll log
I'm
on.
sure we'll
Yeah.
cover it again before the month is out if
Yeah,
we're
probably.
getting back into the swing of recording.
And we'll probably have to come back to it a lot with the ranch and all that. So.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so Runefest happened, and
Yes, it did.
I think it's safe to say we enjoyed it.
I would call it a massive
maybe
success
even
for
loved it.
Jagex in a time when they desperately needed one.
I think this was my favorite one so far.
It all was very visible. They had the demo, which I think was a big success. Had very clear announcements with very clear goals and lots of stuff to show.
I think we should also say we didn't go.
Yeah,
but
neither of us were there.
Witnessed it from Twitch.
Yes.
And as a viewer, this was incredibly exciting. As a person who was deathly sick on Saturday, I could not let myself take a nap while the keynote was going on because I needed to see more because it just kept getting better and better.
Meanwhile, I was driving to a wedding during the keynote and wasn't able to look at it until like 3 a.m.
But it was worth it.
But it was worth it.
All right, so I guess kicking things off was that cinematic intro was amazing.
Beautiful.
The quality clearly shone through, and I know we can't have that all the time, but can we have that all the time? Can we use
Please,
that as a quest
so
cutscene, please?
Oh my god, yeah, instead of the drawings.
Just get JMods to act out all the
Dude, just every time Anachronia comes up, just have like somebody in the dinosaur costume.
Indeed.
That'd be great. And then there was that cosplayer that dressed up as Carapac. Why don't they just hire her to play Carapac in all of their cutscenes?
That was the best costume, but yeah,
Mhm.
I wish. But then moving on to the worst kept secret of 2019 was archaeology.
Yep, that was their first major announcement.
I think we kind of figured this was coming for several months now.
Months, dude. I guessed it back when Rowley announced that he was working on a major update for 2020.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think we did on a podcast. We all talked about it.
Right, and then they surveyed it very heavily last year, which
yeah, we had that
was not subtle.
4 different types of archaeology option that we voted on and talked about.
Right, it was clearly being heavily considered.
Yeah, basically nobody expected things to be anything other than archaeology.
I think a lot of people expected a lot of other things. And a lot of
those people were wrong.
And a lot of people were hoping it wasn't archaeology because they thought it was boring, but I think those people are wrong.
Yeah, I've always been a big proponent of getting archaeology as a skill, and I'm really excited to see how this has been reviewed.
Those people that are wrong are fine with being wrong because what was shown was above and beyond. 18 months of work is really shown through.
Mm-hmm. I'm beyond impressed by this, and I'm super excited to get my hands on this. But it's not the first thing we're going to talk about.
Oh, it's not. Whoopsie. Yes, we're going to talk about things in timeline order, and I totally forgot that. The other big thing.
Let me run through what we know about the timeline so far here, just to kind of wet the mouth on all the exciting stuff. So first we have the Ranch Out of Time, which is a player-on-farm expansion being put on Anachronia.
Called it.
And 120 farming and 120 herblores coming along with that. Surprise.
Did you see that one coming?
I saw herblore coming.
Herblore I can see more because he had the combat potential.
No, I saw herblore coming because Orion tweeted about potions.
I thought that was more ranch related, but
I thought it was
still
ranch
makes
related, but
sense.
I also thought, where the hell else are they going to put these in the skill? I bet one of the 2 120s is Herblore.
It all coming together makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
And farming also
Farming
makes sense
surprised
with
me a
ranch.
little bit. I thought it was going to be summoning for sure, which is extra funny because some aspect of that seems to have been thrown into archaeology.
Archaeology seems to be a lot of things, but yeah, summoning is one of them.
But the Ranch Out of Time plus the 2 120s is coming in November, like literally next month.
Yes, and this...
Whoa.
So it's hard to fault them for saving this for Runefest.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of... Before Runefest, there was a lot of bad will in the community, I guess.
It's been a dry spell, not helped by absurd microtransaction.
It's been a dry spell of content and a dry spell of information, which is Runefest, pre-Runefest season, but...
And not helped by them officially stating that they'd canceled some level of content that was supposed to hit in the summer.
Right.
So things have felt a little weirdly dry.
But it's nice knowing now. It's just a week ago.
I wish we knew before.
Wish he wasn't as stressed
or
concerned.
All right. So next, we were told that early access for Android for RuneScape Mobile beta will be coming in late 2019, and hopefully they'll be able to roll that out for everyone else.
Yeah. I do not have an Android, so it doesn't really affect me. So
I hope it comes for iPhone soon because I don't have an Android either.
Oh well.
Then the King Archaeology is coming in January.
The King? Oh, you're calling is your favorite update of the list?
It's the biggest update, I would argue.
Arguably.
Super excited, glad it's January. Jagex seems to target January for new skills, I've noticed.
Yeah,
probably because of Premiere, just from a marketing standpoint, has something really big that they can show off to get you. Which sounds really cynical, but like, no, it makes perfect sense. I'm not really whining about it or anything.
Business. Yeah.
And then we have undated, but coming next year, the Desperate Measures quest.
Which we desperately need.
Yep. We do not believe that it is the next quest coming. That appears to be a quest about Azanadra and the city of Sentiston.
What?
Right? That's the one that's actually coming next, right?
No, it's on the timeline, that order. This is the order.
Is it officially? Because I remember hearing that City of Sentiston was the next quest being made.
No.
Okay.
This is the order.
I was wrong. New pets, including from things like ports.
Ports? Ports 4? Is this Ports 4? I think this is Ports 4.
Ports. Take me back to port. Yeah, that'd be sick if they actually did the bathysphere update. Just like, screw y'all, underwater ports, let's go.
Let's call it Ports 3.5, actually. I'll call it Ports 3.
Yeah, that works.
But I believe there's also things like clue scrolls and I think the farm and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've already got a couple pets on the farm, but more pets.
I think it's mostly those content things that are you... What was the name of the content stuff that you keep checking in on and you progress? They named it
oh god, what is their fancy name for that?
I like to call it time-gated content, but that was not what they called it.
It's idle content. It's straight up idle content.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I don't really have a complaint about that.
I don't complain about that. That seems to be what they're targeting with these pets.
It's basically player-owned content.
Player-owned. Yes, that's good enough.
Yep, that's what it was. We got there. Then we have our first remaster, which is a remaster of the entirety of Managing Miscellanea.
Not the first one I expected, but still good.
Not complaining. I wonder if that means they'll also do some work on the quests.
I don't think they'll touch the old quests. I'm hoping with their willingness to... I feel like every 6 months they say, oh, you guys want small quests? We'll start doing those, and they never do. Well, that's, I guess they kind of do with Cheesecake, but a little larger. Anyways, they mentioned again Runefest. I hope that this is an opportunity to put a small quest in with it, because I think remasters are the perfect place to do the small ones, like the actual like just kind of integrate some mechanics or stuff into the land and the area.
That would be great.
Anyways.
Then we've got the City of Sentiston quest.
Yes, the temple at Sentiston 2.
And then for summer of 2020, we have a Elder God Wars done.
Yeah.
Confused about this one.
I'm not as confused, I don't think. And
not necessarily confused. I just don't really know why the elders would be at war.
Which I think will be
probably a part of it.
Hopefully
Yeah,
a big
key
plot
plot point.
point in the storyline coming up. And I
And
know they said
not
that
to be too negative, but it hasn't stopped them before with Wars Done.
right, the second one.
Hey, here's some random stuff. Here's some loosely connected lore that kind of works, and then also Telos
But
because
I think like God Wars Dungeon 2, I think mechanics will probably be like the saving grace to this.
oh yeah,
Because definitely the God Wars Dungeon 2 was a very it's a piece of PvM even I enjoyed. So I think you'll
and we'll
attract
talk
a lot
about
of
it more
different
as
people.
we get to our bullet point too.
Right.
Then we've got an Azanadra quest,
This one was a little out of left field for me, but I think I have some theories.
and then lastly, a dig site for archaeology in Orthen on Anacron.
Thank God there's continued planned support for the skill.
Yeah, good to hear it already.
Right.
Don't cancel it like Invention Batch 2, please.
I don't think they can.
I don't think they can afford to.
No, yeah, I think that it's at this point it's planned into the story, so let's keep it planned in the story.
Yep. All right, so let's dig into all this stuff here.
I like your wording. But digging into archaeology.
Ranch out of time first. Come on. Now.
Branch out time. I keep putting the wrong order on it.
I'll go in timeline order here.
Sorry. Yeah, and I was the one who suggested it. Whoopsie.
All right, so you're going to be working with Great Granny Potterington to make 5 new paddocks on Anachronia, on those islands that are like off to the west.
Mm-hmm. The west of Anachronia.
And then you will be making what is it, like 2 small, a medium, and a large, and then a breeding or something.
2 large, 1 small.
2 large. Okay.
There's a lot of
and
big
you'll be able
dinos.
to breed salamanders, frogs, Jadinkos, ripper dinosaurs, apterosaurs, quads, and rexes.
There's also small models for things like the brutish dinosaur and the venomous, and
they're so cute.
So many baby dinosaurs I didn't know I needed. I need to see these like roaming the island with their parents just normally.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Some little foots, you know.
Baby Maliatops is the best.
We're picking
the
favorites
little
now.
volcano on its back with the little poof.
I really like the venomous one because its tongue doesn't fit in its mouth.
That's the tongue is really
only
great.
reason. And it wins in my eyes.
They're all really excellent.
I can't wait to have to collect these. Getting some flashbacks to that portion of Player and Farm, but you get past it, I guess.
Yeah, as long as the drop rates aren't too prohibitive.
And hopefully I'll make BGH very profitable.
Yeah. Good, because I'm good at it. I just don't like it. So if you give me money, I'm more willing to like it.
Not to mention now you're gonna need the meats for the 120 farming. So.
And Herblore, yeah.
And Herblore, yeah, that the feast stuff. So, but the ranch,
it looks like it's gonna be all post 99 for farming.
Some before 99, but mostly post. Okay. Which is good that there's gonna be a lot of variety in training farming post 99. Because be this plus.
Yeah, just reading over everything they've got. It seems like there's upwards of 14 different types available. Of like different animals. With I think I said 7 different types that you actually get, and then all the different variants.
Right.
So that's 7 things already for
to passively
99 1.
Right.
But then we also have confirmed 11 new types of produce.
Right, moving on to the 120 farming stuff.
Yeah, so including dragon fruit, avocado, stink shrooms, and guarana, and then a money tree.
Yes,
money really does grow on trees,
if
kids.
You can get the seed. These are all very interesting. I think it's quite interesting how we're getting new cacti.
Oh, yep, yeah.
Because it used to be you only had that one patch, and now we're slowly been building. I feel like this is the only patch we build around the world. We keep building cactus patches around the world, and we're gonna have to build another one in Anachronia.
This will be our 4th, right?
Was there originally 2? I thought it was Alcarid, Menaphos, Anachronia.
Maybe it's just our 3rd. I swore there was a 3rd.
I didn't know if there was. I thought it was 1 originally. Anywho, and we built the Menaphos one.
Yeah, Alcarid and Menaphos, and then this will be our 3rd one. Okay, cool.
Okay. So I thought that's interesting.
The farming guild, the original farm will become the farming guild.
right? And I think that
and
the remote,
you supply noobs with produce to grow your reputation.
yes, and is a seed sink. More importantly, it's a sink,
Yeah.
which will be
And
great.
then you use that to unlock a remote farming machine, also known as yet another thing that slowly starts to kill livid farm.
I'm just happy they've revisited machines,
Me too.
even in this small form, because machines were such a great update, and then they never got touched again. Um,
Yeah, I hope it's something that gets messed with further.
but being able to see all of my patches from one spot will probably get me to use some of the more harder to get to spots,
Yeah.
which will be
Well, and
nice.
in turn, that'll get me farming more, which will get me closer to 120.
Right, right.
But
Also,
as
is the Bloodwood tree patch, um,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
which is nice. I pretty much only stick to the ones outside the wilderness, because why wouldn't I? Uh,
Same, to be honest.
but it should be a little bit of money income, right? I think the bolts are worth a decent amount.
Yeah, I just appreciate all these new things that are actually relevant.
Right, and this fourth spirit tree, I wonder if it's going to be an Anachronia,
I
specifically
feel like that would make the most sense
next on the island
next
with
to the
the
farm.
ranch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Anachronia is just so hard to traverse at the moment.
more teleports the better. And especially
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I think that's most of 120 farming. Without talking about Herbler, because there is that the Herbler will come with a potion that brings use to the
yep.
lower level farm stuff, which I think is really nice to get us to grow for the feast.
Yeah. But
Um,
heck, let's hop into farming or Herblore
Herbler,
then if you're.
yeah, Herbler is definitely reward city. So many things here. Um,
Yeah, they've got a lot of content looking here too.
so where farming I think is nice with you have the player owned farm, or you have the crops as two like kind of methods. I think Herbler's still going to be kind of samey. I don't see anything too revolutionary here in terms of trading, which is, I guess, fine. It's not much you can really do with it, but um, that what it brings my eye to really is the Blessed Flask, because that's kind of like the different thing here. It's the thing that you have to work a lot of time into in order to get the reward out of, and that is unlike all the other Herbler stuff, which is just sitting in a bank and
Yeah.
one item on another. Um, but other than that, like there's the things like the weapon poison, the combination prayer summoning, the charming potion. Those are pretty fine. I don't know if you have anything interesting to say about those.
I
Kind of
think they're just a good idea.
there's
That was
ideas,
something definitely suggested on.
right? And then you get into the things like the overloads, which are going to be
Of course,
huge draws.
you don't make 120 Herblore without power creeping combat a little more.
That was just mandatory. The things that
Yeah.
weren't mandatory though were the power burst potions, which I think are hilarious. I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to be using that surge one to get like some really fast agility course times on Anachronia.
I think it's a really cool idea though. Super time, like low time, wicked powerful.
Right. It's
Like unique effects too. Just removing your surge cooldown. Think of how far you can.
right. It's gonna be crazy. Hopefully it's gonna be crazy. It could be
Yeah.
those could be the best ones that
Well,
we're
and then
pushing.
we've got bombs.
Bombs. I'm curious to see if do you think they're like a ranged weapon, or like you bring one in your inventory, you throw it, or do they stack and you
I'm
ammo them?
hoping it's gonna be like Chinchampas, where you can kind of stack them in your inventory and then.
Right. Because I'm
Because
thinking
literally it reads like a Chinchampa.
it looks like it's utility ranged weapons,
Yep.
like how
Freeze
magic
bombs,
has their
poison bombs,
spells.
vulnerability bombs.
Right.
What I do like about what they've listed so far already is vulnerability bombs and freeze bombs help ranged cover some of the magic stuff that you would want at high level PvP.
Right. Right. So
Instead of having to bring runes with you to cast your vulnerability spells or something, you can bring a bomb that you've created.
right, and maybe you don't have to worry about accuracy or anything because you're
Exactly.
arranging anyway. Um,
Finally, let's range kind of cover some of that parity.
hmm which is yeah, it's good.
Excellent. Really excellent.
Right, and then the Blessed Flask that I was talking before. I think that's probably the thing I go for first. Is I like those
Oh, yeah.
long time sinks into one thing. which is going to be a lot like Masterwork, and it lets you make a potion that quote unquote gives you prayer points for days in one slot, which will be good for those Slayer tasks where you're filling your inventory primarily with prayer potions.
Well, and I like ideas like this too, is pulling back into the masterwork idea.
Yeah, I think
It was a huge success for mining and smithing.
it's a good thing to give to artisan skills, production skills, manufacturing skills.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that should be kind of like a good end goal. The overload effect idea and the masterwork idea, like the untradeable effects and the huge time sink for profit effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely keep those going forward. They are working out. I think the one thing we skipped was, or touched on very briefly, was the Potion of Harvest and Primal Feast.
Yep.
The potion that makes your low-level farming items, allotment stuff, much better, and then you add them all together to make this food, along with the end game, big game hunter meat, to make like the best in slot food.
Yeah, basically you farm from these like basic allotments under the effect of the potion, and it gives you a new like superpower.
Mm-hmm. And
You
you put these
combine
all
them all
together.
together.
Yeah.
Best in slot.
Right, and it's I think it's best in slot in technically in like life points per inventory spot because you break portions of this food off to eat, kind of
Yeah.
like a
And they're
sack
also
of
just
potatoes.
adding content to the game hunter by making the meat combined in there.
Right, which hopefully that drives the price of the tier 3 meat up because right now
Yeah.
tier 2 is the king.
Yeah. Well, and 3 is just going to go through the roof if this is good.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
it's like filling everyone's inventories so that I can just big game hunter my way to bank.
Yeah. And then we also know the perk for 120 Earth.
Yes.
You can create overloads, supreme overloads, elder overloads, and so on in batches of 5 using 20% fewer ingredients.
I think that's decent. It's a very good 120 perk because at that point you're not training. You're kind of just doing it for supplies at that point, and doing it with the untradeable ones is pretty good. Because you had to make those yourself anyway. We also have the farming perks.
Yep, the patches always contain super compost, which is amazing. Then there's an active as well that increases the health and happiness of your farm animals by 20% once.
Right. I think those also have like their post 120 uses also. So
yeah,
if you want to grow anything or if you want to work on your farm for like collection or beans or whatever. Definitely good.
Oh, and I forgot to mention as well. Sorry, I had a different tab open. But we also have mango and lychee bushes, I guess. I thought they were fruit trees.
Oh, thank God we have new fruit bushes. I was totally
new fruit bushes and new fruit trees. We have carambola, siku, and guarana for fruit trees. Mango, avocado, and lychee for.
I hope they're worth it because I've never really used a fruit bush.
Yeah, I haven't used one in a long, long time. Stink shrooms and tomb shrooms.
Yep, mushrooms.
They've just shown enough content that makes me feel really, really certain that they've actually filled 99 to 120
right.
Interesting things.
And we haven't seen the skill guide for it, but I can already imagine it's packed and there's probably multiple things on some levels after 99. And
but like the fact that I can sit here and go, all right, we got 14 new species to play on with Ranch Out of Time.
Right.
We've got the remote farming machine, Bloodwood tree patch, a new spirit tree patch, 2 new cactuses, 2 new mushrooms, 3 new fruit trees, 3 new bushes, a money, plus the whole noob adventurers help them. That is a skill's worth of content, and that's really what I can ask for in 120.
I mean, I think it's the fault of Ranch Out of Time, but I think farming might be more full here than Herblore.
I think you're completely right.
Which is it's fine. I think this branch and the crops are going to be kind of in parallel, but I wonder if it's going to feel like you're doing farming faster than Herblore.
Needs that much more.
Really?
Because Herblore is a packed skill as is,
right.
And since it's more of a production skill, while farming is more of like a passive weight skill.
Right. So while you're
having
waiting
it
for your
packed
farming
with a bunch of new stuff will kind of let you work on farming while you grind.
Right. And I'm curious to see how much you can DIY these together at the same. Like if you start 99 for both of them. I'm gonna try
one other thing to add, I forgot to mention this one. Drops will be added to Slayer and PVM, which you can convert using Herblore into Adrenaline Crystals.
Right, we forgot. Are these not on the... Okay. Yes, Adrenaline Crystals. That will be Very
Yeah, that was
interesting.
on the TLDR, but was not on the official website, and I missed that.
Gotcha. Yeah, are you looking at the I'm Sudi
So I
TLDR?
said I'm like tabbing through two different things.
Gotcha. Um, I guess some small information is there's gonna be a grace period. It's all right. I don't know if were you looking for it? Do you have comp?
What's that?
Do you have
Comp?
comp?
I am 12 mil off comp
Okay.
on Slate.
um,
Losing a computer for 3 months makes it really hard to train Slayer.
hurts the XP rates.
Yeah,
So that's
we're
neat,
getting
I
there.
guess. Otherwise, I think this looks like it's gonna go over very well. I think
Yeah.
people were a little doubting 120s, and they saw this, and they're like, "Yes, please."
I mean, and I'm sure you've heard us rant about 120s before if you listen to this podcast or any content.
You have. I've not so much.
I think us talking about how excited we are for these should really speak to how content rich these feel.
Yeah, the fact that we were sold on these in what 10, 15
Don't let me
minutes of
down.
presentation. That's all it took.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I even think that Jagex has released genuinely really good reasonings for all of this. These
Right.
are already content-rich skills with content packed 1 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
Farming is very popular, especially with player-on farm. The two skills work together really well, like mining and smithing, and have content it unlocks at every level. They want milestones and goals to not make it feel like a ridiculous grind and to put a grace period on it. And all of that is
Yep. All
nice.
great.
I'm really actually excited for this.
I'm curious why they didn't put this on their World Out of Time website. Seems like it fit.
It's in there, but it's just so much smaller.
Is it?
Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Ranch Out of Time news
No,
post they
go
made,
straight
not the
from
sub website.
they go straight from Land Out of Time to archaeology.
Yes, they do. Which, speaking of, so will we.
Archaeology.
Archaeology time.
So good. I just want to keep talking about it. Can we just talk about it for a couple hours?
Yeah, oh my god, I'm beyond excited
I
for this.
can't believe we have to wait till January.
January 2020.
Wait.
18 months of production time. I think, honestly, my one disappointment is that it's not an elite skill.
Yes.
And I don't even need an elite skill to be locked by 380s.
No.
I really don't. But just having the normal 120 XP curve is a bit of a disappointment to me.
I think the curve can work fine as long as like the things are balanced out. It's just gonna be the XP rate from at like level 1 is gonna be so different from the XP rate at level not level 1. I'll say 30 to and 110 is gonna be so different. Whereas with the invention curve, it's a lot more similar. I think it's closer.
It's true, and I do hope so.
But I think you can balance it. It's just gonna be different. It's gonna be more like dungeoneering, I guess, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But the other important thing is this is actually a free to play skill up to level 20.
That was interesting choice.
I'm actually surprised that they're bothering to put a cap on it. Why don't you just let free to play go up to 99?
Yeah, and just use the carrot area.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that'd get boring because like once you solve the mystery of the area, is kind of just repetitive at that point.
But I mean, that's what every free to play skill is like.
Fair.
It cuts off
but
at like 40 and 50.
You get 99 free to play. You have 4 more areas to get through. Just doing it for the story's sake at that point. You kind of have to do it because the collection and all that. But
yeah,
not as cool.
But they've promised that they will add more to the skill across the year and beyond.
Right. It's going to tie into a lot of things. I believe City of Sentiston is probably going to tie into it quite well.
I assume so.
Cause back time. But I guess jumping back to the so the skill is kind of a combination of collecting things and repairing things and visiting new areas and exploring their history, which I think is everything we wanted from it, but not what we believed could happen.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't
It's a
think it could
production
be
skill, it's a
realized
manufacturing
like this.
skill, and it's an adventuring skill.
I've heard that quoted so many times. Literally everyone I've heard look like reviewing this kind of stuff quotes that it's a production skill, it's a gathering skill, it's a it's caught on. It's definitely caught on.
Well, what's nice is that we can clearly see how it is.
I'm still just saying it's a support skill in my mind. But if we get
it's a support skill, but you do gathering and you do production.
If you have
that allows you to create
one of those events we get bonus gathering skill experience and bonus production skill experience, and this counts for both, and it's a double. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Um,
And heck, I just really trust the team that's working behind this.
right. I think once we found out that mods, I think Rowley, Timbo, Ryan were on this like big project, it already
More
sounded
heavy.
good.
Rowley's literally doing his best work right there.
Right.
And he's already got so much experience as a skilling creator.
Right.
I mean, and Ryan is the god of skilling content.
Exactly. And Timbo does
Balancing, yeah.
He does balancing. He does all the balancing. I think
I
even
really
if even if he
genuinely
was on the
think,
team, he'd be balancing it, but he does balancing better on the team, I guess.
Yep. It keeps him more in the loop, I would believe.
Right. So the skills, I guess have to revamp Dig Site again.
Yep. Just right after it was revamped.
Right. So I think it was said that the archaeology update and the land out time were kind of developed separately. So I think they both had plans to update the Dig Site, and now they kind of both have to do it over each other.
That's okay though. I think it worked out for the best.
Right. It looks like from screenshots that have come from the demo, it looks quite nice. The archaeology campus being built and that new building getting a use. And that's just a tutorial area. That's not even going to be like the main training area.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of? So, the basic gameplay loop looks to be you excavate, you get soil, materials, artifacts, and other items, and you kind of keep doing that to get materials to repair your artifacts, turn that for experience. Do you think that's a unique enough gameplay loop, or is it?
Yeah, that feels about what I would have expected from archaeology, to be honest. Especially knowing that the gathering aspect of it is kind of the basic parts, and then you start putting together pieces, start constructing your artifact, start restoring that, and then when you finish that, that's where the big XP starts coming in.
See, I think that's what everyone was thinking it would be when they heard archaeology and were kind of like naysaying it, and like, that's it, that's all we're going to be doing is digging and fixing artifacts and putting in museums. I think
but literally like gathering puzzle pieces and having that aspect of it, having all these different locations to explore, and then getting the story behind it actually really gets.
So we needed this gameplay loop base in order to get all these other things on top.
Yeah,
I think the areas are like the coolest parts. I did not expect any of it, any of the new areas. I expected all to be like an existing stuff and all that.
Yeah, especially the Everlight. That leaked screenshot really surprised. They added so much lamp.
Am I an idiot here, or did we know that the Dominion Tower was Icene based?
We do not know that the Dominion Tower is Icene based, and nothing here has said that.
Not, you mean the Dominion area in Everlight isn't good enough?
Well, no, because what's the name of the Icene homeworld?
New Domina.
And what word is real close to Domina?
Dominion. Tower.
Exactly. Well, not tower necessarily.
But what if it's related?
Nothing about the Dominion games has implied the Dominion Tower yet.
I'm gonna keep my eye on it.
I would be genuinely surprised.
Interesting. I think there's a chance. Anyways,
I don't think that the visuals that we've seen of Everlight really match up with the tower at all. None of the architecture or the lore really feels Icenic at all.
I agree there.
I think really what we're getting out of Dominion games and this whole area of Everlight is really more about Ceridominus' control of parts of Mauritania. We're getting lore about that.
Right, and we haven't seen very much of an Icene settlement ever, I don't believe.
Ever, not at all.
So it's going to be very new. It looks like from some of the assets being shown off, it's going to be very Greek themed, like we knew the Icene were. There's a lot of statues, a lot of there's an amphitheater, stuff like that. So that will be something very new that we haven't seen before. And a lot of this information we got last year about Third Age armies is starting to come together because all these areas are based on Third Age factions.
Yeah.
So that will be neat.
Yep. So the 5 new areas that we have are the Karidet, which is kind of under and near the Dueler, which is unlocked at level 5 archaeology, and it's very Zerosian.
I believe the
You're
website.
getting Zerosian weapons, Zeros pieces, and scrolls of ancient knowledge.
I believe in the talk, they specifically said ancient magic scrolls as well. So I think additions to that spell book are going to be part of this.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm expecting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned some stuff like artifact weapons.
Yeah, they didn't say much about it. They showed off one. I think they're probably
Sphere of Annihilation.
saving this. So I have a theory, a RuneScape game theory, where they showed off a lot of the rewards. One of them was Ancient Summoning, which was Demon Summoning, which seems very tied to the Infernal Source. They mentioned Ancient Magic Editions, which is clearly tied to the Zerosian area.
Ancient Invention.
Ancient Invention, which I guess based on the other two already have one, is probably more Icenic.
Yeah.
Just as a guess. And so if and they said that ancient potions will come from the Orthan site later on. So I think maybe ancient weapons might be Bandosian from the Warforge.
Probably Warforge.
What's forged at a Warforge is weapons.
Additionally,
yeah.
I would mention that all of these rewards feel like something that was concepted in the past and then kind of cut.
These are all big skill expansions.
Yeah, Ancient Summoning was something they talked about for 120 Summoning.
Mm-hmm.
And artifact weapons really remind me of those living weapons that they wanted to make for.
Right. The invention stuff is all very I think good ideas. Yeah, I think these are all like very good rewards for these areas.
Absolutely.
We're gonna be getting.
But yeah, let's chat about these areas that we know now.
So Caradet, Zerosian. Yeah. The website mentions it's the place where the Majorat met Zaros for the first time. I assume while they were with Itchy.
Yeah.
So that's neat. I don't think we know much more than that other than it's Zerosian.
Yep,
I think
that's religious pieces and scrolls of ancient knowledge.
That's an
concept art
interesting
is
first
gorgeous.
one to go to. I feel like usually Zaros is the last.
I like it as a first though because it's in an accessible location.
Right, and it's so close to the dig site.
Have you looked at the concept art closely, by the way?
How closely should I be looking? I see a
Have you noticed the lizard with the pharaoh hat on yet?
Yes.
Because it's hysterical. I love it.
Oh, that's all we're going for here. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to call that one out, and then also the ancient staff that's
I'm into it.
Cobwebby and stuck into the ground.
No, I think.
And then I think the most important thing to me is that door in the background looks like the ritual stone.
You think so?
Yeah, the shape on the bottom.
Maybe. I don't know if I see it, but I'll take your word for it.
It's the shape is similar to me.
Okay. Yeah, I think we saw that there was a desert area a couple hours before the reveal. I did not expect it to be Zerosian.
I thought it was going to be desert.
I thought it was going to be desert, yeah, exactly. But it makes sense if they're doing very third age focus that desert's not as much a part of that.
And then this also makes me wonder if perhaps this was formerly a desert site because that shape in the background also kind of reminds me of some Menophosian icons and like Scarabus and Tomb.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these sites were like stuff built on top of stuff and you're kind of digging your way through the ages. So it might start more one thing and then end up more another.
I got really excited when I saw the writing on the stones, wondering if maybe we could translate it with the Golden Path letters. But it looks like the concept artist just stole some real life hieroglyphs and threw it on there, which kind of...
That would have been the most epic Easter egg.
That would have
Golden
been
Path Part 2. Golden Path Part 2.
I don't even care if all it just said is, if you're reading this, you're a nerd. Like, I would have been just really happy to...
It should have just said, you are on the Golden Path, and then just left it there, never done anything with it. If they just copied the text from some old Metapost thing and accidentally did that.
I wouldn't have even been upset, to be honest, if they're like, we're so sorry later.
But yeah, this
just having it there and keeping that consistency in art would have made me like...
I think out of the three sites they talked about, this is the one they talked about the least.
Yeah. Interestingly, they spoke very in-depth about Everlight was actually playable in the demo as well.
Right, which I think is why I talked the most about, because people were touching it. I'm curious to see how far people got through it, but I really like that it's got the centerpiece of a giant lighthouse.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I also like how it's got a clear end goal. You set to work and try to find a way to extinguish and claim the Everlight.
But why? I'm trying to figure out why. Would a Ferrite want that?
I think Venescula
I
wants it.
guess
It's
she
like she's
does,
the manager.
but a Ferrite is also in the land. She could probably also see it from wherever she's living.
Well, and also don't forget the castle right next to Everlight is her.
Right, right. I think it's very funny how Everlight gets so close to the Icene graveyard. I don't think you can probably traverse between the two because that would probably do some wonky things to Lord of Vampirium. But
On the map that I'm looking at here, the
uh-huh.
stones that block you from walking further south are.
All right, what?
If you go from Araxite's hive and run down to that area,
Yes.
it cuts you off on the coast by the set of stones. You look at the leaked image, the
Uh-huh.
word Mire Ditch, just a little up and to the right, those stones are still visible.
Right, but look at the Everlight dig site, and there's those two buildings right next to the graveyard.
Oh yeah, because there's the Icenic graveyard.
Yeah. I wonder if you can just walk between them now.
It's such an odd place because like it's very quest locked, but it's level like what 20 archaeology.
20 sounds correct-ish. I can look real fast.
Yeah, 20. It's level 20.
Are you sure?
I really don't know how this one's going to work at such a low level in terms of getting there, unless they just expect you to have the.
I don't know. Probably they don't. So
Probably.
But if you can't get
And
this
then
one, I think
Infernal Source
right, you unlock
also
Infernal
unlocks
Source at the
at
same
20.
time.
They
So
kind of let you split.
right, and that one's very much easier to get to, right? It's below the jungle we're in, says the website.
Yep.
And the art. The art, I swear, looks like Lornab heads.
Honestly, looking at it, it really does look like the Lornab head.
And this is one of those things where I think like it's about stuff built over the ages because Lornab would have been the source of demons for Zaros, but then Zamorak came in and probably used the area and the connection to Infernus to summon his own demons. So that kind of mystery going deeper would be. I'm just so happy to see Lornab back after Mod Jack vowed to never use him again, and he's now had to use him so many times after.
So good.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back up in the Contesting Quest if we go back far enough to when Zaros was establishing the city.
What I'm kind of hoping from the Santistan quest would also be like, with Lornab content, kind of doing a pocket sequel to Soulsbane.
Yeah, I could see that. It's the same area.
I still want just a Soulsbane rework to kind of clean up the themes and stuff, but even just some follow up would be really great.
Yeah, but for archaeology, I think the Infernal Source might be one of the. See, I think Icene and Demon stuff are very untouched. Like the Curadet, like the Zara stuff is Majorat. We see that all the time. But these are the two that are really piquing my interest because we've never seen an Icene building. We've never seen like remains from Dis. That's totally new. What's the architecture like?
And before listeners get all confused about why we're talking about Dis, one of the things that came out of the Runefest demo was somebody managed to grab a quality look at the entire
skill guide. Yep. And there's a lot of like fragments of the Infernal Realms in there, like came through from these areas.
Yeah. At a level, there it is, at level 29, you unlock Infernal Source, Order of Dis.
Mm-hmm. I think there's like some Dis rubble at some point that you can excavate.
Yep, Dis dungeon debris at 45.
Right. So I think
Demon Howl at 65. I like the Vestibule of Futility.
I doubt it still looks like the architecture in Thameron's throne room, so I want to see what the updated version is.
And I also just really like the different lore that they're kind of pulling in here. I'm sitting here reading through these, and they've got things like Shakroth remains, and Shakroth are a type of demon that like literally never get.
Right.
We literally know that name from Palkira's memory, and that's it. It's just Hellhounds and Blazehound.
It's touching a lot of very.
That's why I'm so happy that Rowley is like on this team and in charge of things because he's really detail oriented.
there's gonna be so much here, and the skill's gonna give lore books while we're going through it. And there's gonna be mysteries we solve, and
Yeah.
It's gonna be an adventure going through it. Um, Actually, I think one of the things that was talked about in the lore Q&A with the narrative of archaeology was they were talking about bringing in a lot of the inspiration was bringing stuff from pop culture archaeology, like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
one of the things they brought up was an antagonist. So I'm curious to see if that actually made it through. What that would add to the skill if there was a narrative antagonist. Maybe just for one area. Who knows?
Oh, another reason that we can confirm that the other two Tig sites are Armadillion and Bandosian,
Right.
because up in the higher like 70s level, there's Armadillion Yellow and Mark of the Kaizaj in the skill.
Right. I think they gave the name Stormforge Citadel, Armadillion, and Warforge, Bandosian. It's kind of,
Yep.
I think we can assume safely which one's which, unless
Yeah.
they switcheroo. They each took control of an enemy stronghold at some point. I don't know. And we'll learn more about the.
Also, I just noticed something else here. Let me
Yes.
let me pull this up real. Yeah. Okay, I can officially confirm that Stormguard is 100% armor.
Okay.
Because at level 76, it unlocks the Keshik Memorial. And in the military forces of the late Third Age document, there's
God.
2 elite units, and they're called the Keshik.
You did some really deep digging there. I never would have thought to look down.
I just started kind of digging around as we're speaking right now, and I
All right.
realized, shit, I should probably check.
Yeah. Yeah. So Stormguard, we're going to be apparently told more about in November. Says the website, the World of Time website, and Warforge in December. So that'll be kind of like the lead up is learning more about what these areas are more like narratively and what kind of rewards each of them will offer. Because I do think each area is offering its own type of reward.
Yep. Another thing that makes me really happy is looking through the skill guide, how many times it just allows you to return to old locations.
Yeah, every location's still getting more stuff every level.
We're at 93, curried at Culinar. Like, fantastic.
Yeah, all the different levels of players will be kind of like running back and forth with each other the whole time. The release date will be nuts. Everyone will be contained to these small areas, and not like Dungeoneering where you can't see them all. You'll see them all.
Yeah,
be quite something.
here, it's actually really interesting looking at how deep Rally dug, because I'm looking at 98. Bizroth are a Zamarakian.
Yes, I think knew that one. I did not know
Yeah.
the others.
It's just nice looking through these and being like, wow, he really dug deep into that document. Love it. I really love it.
So excited. So we should probably talk more about the other parts of the skill other than the sites.
Oh yeah. There's rewards for the skill too, crazily enough.
Yes. Dive a little deeper. So the ancient
So
summoning.
just before we move on, I do want to comment on my favorite part of the skill. The final unlock you get at level 119 had people really confused and freaking out at first. It's the makeshift pie.
Makeshift pie oven, yes.
All the way up to 19. At 116, you're excavating Sutzeroth remains, and at 115, you're investigating Bandos' sanctum and its debris, and Hal's workshop, and then you get to the 119 and unlock the makeshift pie oven.
They needed their pies.
I genuinely love it. It's hilarious.
The war was teetering out. They got to find new professions. They got to start learning to make pies.
Pie makers. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So,
but yeah. First and foremost, moving on to the next part of the skill, it has its own tool called the Maddock.
Yes, the small pickaxe.
Yep. You can already get one, the golden Maddock, if you watch the stream.
You can't get it anymore.
You could have gotten.
You could have gotten one. If listening to this now, no, you cannot.
I will add though, I actually got mine today. I had not gotten one from my Lootscape crates, and then I logged on today and just got another random Lootscape crate, and a Maddock just fell into my inventory.
Right. So what happened there was the Maddock was not on for the second Lootscape, the second stream, the Saturday stream, and so Shiny sent a second one for that stream with it turned on later on.
That makes sense. I was wondering what was going on there.
Catch up.
Yeah, I can't complain. I got free hunter marks, so thanks.
Right. Yeah, I got the marks too. And the Maddock from Runefest you could use at all of the locations where sites will be to get XP lamps and unlock a cosmetic version of it.
Yeah.
That was
But
neat.
you craft them. Looks like you probably just go through normal metals.
Right.
Go because in the concept art, the Orichalcum, Necronium, Elderrune, Bane ones are listed as,
Yep.
which says to me that batch 1 is probably our basic metal:
Right. And then
bronze,
I
iron,
think more
steel,
interestingly,
mithril, adamant,
it has the special versions like the Crystal and
yeah.
Kando Space and Time. That
And
must
then
mean
one called
they're
the
going to be,
Hero.
and that's not called hero. It's going to be a hero item.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yes. Like, but I think interestingly there, that means they're going to be augmentable at launch with their own perks,
Yeah.
which is, thank goodness, it's already integrated.
Mhm.
Don't have to do it later.
One other additional thing. Um, I don't know if there's any archaeology requirements to wield any of these Maddox, because none of them are in the skill guide.
Oh, interestingly, they must be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
I mean,
Maybe
they're
it's
made with
maybe it's under
metals, so
maybe it's under
smithing,
mining.
probably smithing.
Smithing to make, but mining to wield or to
Oh,
use?
maybe,
I don't know.
possibly. I mean, they literally call it the pickaxe of archaeology.
Right, it's basically mining. It's just through more dirt
Yep.
and rock.
And they even stole the stuff from the mining and smithing with rock opportunities happening, basically.
Time spirits. We're calling them time spirits now.
Time spirit, sorry, time spirit.
Um, yeah, so Max will be a thing. Make my Elder one immediately, put out my tool belt, and then try to get the space and time one eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the tools. Rewards time now.
Artifact.
What?
Artifacts are next, right?
Oh, yeah. So artifacts are the things you can collect that to repair with materials. I believe these will be in a collection log per each
Yep.
area, each site. And there are a lot of them. It looked like.
Yeah, collection log is confirmed.
Hopefully with some titles or something like that.
One for each faction.
And with these artifacts, you can turn them in for experience, or you can put them in a museum for currency, and the currency will be used for relics later on, a reward. Um, and that's pretty much mostly artifacts are gonna be like the big XP source.
Yep. And then the dig site becomes the archaeology.
Yes, there's already the site there. I believe Seth Minus is in there. He has the parentheses site manager title, which I think all of these site managers will have at their sites, like Dr. Navanik and Vaneskula.
But you build a research team who work for you when you're away. So
Yeah,
more of that kind of like idle
that
content
play
being
around
built into it.
contest style. Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of things that they can research for you to do. Like,
Yeah.
will they quicken your gameplay loop? Will they give you new
I'm
mechanics, or
expecting Chronotes being involved with that.
to pay them? Maybe.
Or no, maybe getting them from that.
Oh, to earn them, possibly.
Beyond just restoring artifacts, maybe they can help out with that.
Right. Um. Yeah. Rewards now.
Yeah, go for it.
Hallelujah. Okay, ancient summoning demons. Here we go.
All right, keep talking about it. I'm gonna grab food.
Okay, sounds good. So with ancient summoning, we're going to be finally learning how to, well, use summoning to bind demons to our will. I believe it's going to be pretty similar secondary charm pouch. Not too far from that, but I think this is a very untapped pool of monsters. Other than I think we've done lesser demons before. These will all be based on the Slayer demons. This is a very combat heavy reward, which is I think what a lot of, I guess most of these are very combat heavy, but the fact that this is going to be giving like new best in slot familiars and uh, different unique niche familiars will definitely vary up the Steel Titan meta that we see right now. Um, not not much more to say about this other than I think this is going to be really cool. We know about 3 demons right now: the Ripper, Abyssal, and Calgarian.
And they all look amazing.
I know. I'm curious what other ones they'll pull into here. I can't think of any right now. Can they do Chthonian?
Yeah, probably like the greater black lesser, that kind of stuff.
We already have Lesser.
Oh, true.
I'm wondering past that. Maybe Hellhounds. That'd be a cool one.
That could be cool.
Yeah, I think this is a neat one. I don't think this is the one I'll be using the most, but
I mean, I think the obvious one is Calgarian.
yeah, it's combat-y. I'll probably still use a Yak. That's just me. I'm more of the defense type. I'm curious to see if the teleblock feature on the Abyssal one gets used at all. Is PKing live? We'll find out.
Good point. Good.
Right. So after that is Ancient Invention, which I think it took the most interesting, like it changed. So Ancient Summoning is very still summoning. It's still, you make the pouch, you summon it. I think Ancient Invention, the Ancient Gizmo on its own, with the 9 slots for materials.
Such a game changer, yeah.
Is such an interesting one. And not to mention that Archaeology is going to bring its own invention components with it too, with new perks and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see all the new stuff here, because there could be so many things just in that one Ancient Gizmo thing that we get out of it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the XP capacitor is going to be possibly a good way to make money from invention.
Yeah.
I hope it sells well, because
it's a cool idea.
Once you hit 120, it's a good way to use your experience. You can sell your experience, which is it's not really MTX. It's PTX, player trans. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird way of selling XP. And then the kinetic.
It's interesting though.
Right, and the kinetic dynamo, is very similar to something I once thought should be in invention.
Yeah.
Only thing I'd change is to make it work better on agility courses, because I think.
Well, that's why I like how it has running or surging.
Surging I like. Running I feel like feels very silver hockey. But it's the opposite that makes you money. So I think Kinetic Dynamos I'll probably use all the time just to make passive money. And then the ancient tools are also neat. I think as long as you have like the Pick of Earth and Song, or the actually no, there's no.
Well, what they're doing with these enhanced
ones, these are the ones that don't usually have tools, right? These are the hammer, the tinderbox, and the rod don't have higher options right now. So yeah, no, these are actually really. These will be the first level 80 tools for all of these skills, which don't exist at all. They're on their alternatives, which will be crazy. See if they improve the skills by much. And I still think these are all going to be probably from Everlight, but I could be wrong. These might be all around. As everything else seems to be very tied to an area.
Yep.
I think that's all for the rewards they really talked about in terms of
unlocking them that way. And we already mentioned those.
Right. But on top of that, there's even more. There's relics, which are passives, which I think they're starting to get a little heavy on, but this is okay.
These are game changing though.
These are there's a lot of places you can go in the game, like to Aquarium, Memorial, Player Owned Farm, Anachronia. There's a lot of places for passives, but these seem like you hunt these hard.
Well, and the hardest part about these too is they cost chronotes to reset.
Right.
So that really encourages you to do archaeology to build up enough chronotes to reset these when you want to do different things.
They're not like totems where you can just switch them out at a whim for a minute. You definitely have to pick the ones that you want to stick with. And a lot of these are, I think, some of them are effects we've had before, like the Infernal Ads one, or the like the Deathless Engineering no death penalties, like a weekend one or stuff like that. But I think the more interesting ones are like the I really like the teleportation with no runes. I think that will be game changing for like clue scrolls.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of the Adrenaline Ultimate ones.
I really like Berserker's Frenzy and Death Ward as well. Those are really interesting.
Right. I think we should preface, we have a leaked list of it. They announced 2 at the presentation, but someone took a picture of the whole list. It was like 20.
Yep.
And you can pick.
Berserker's Frenzy is deal more damage the lower your HP is, and Death's Ward is take less damage the lower your HP is.
Those work well together, very well together.
Kind of, yeah.
And these are there are about 20 of them. You can pick 3 at a time.
I think set reduction is really clever too. Set bonuses require 1 less item to activate.
I'm curious to see what the kind of combinations in gear that can cause.
Yeah. I think that would work with Void.
Void, yeah, yep.
Activate it with what, 2 items?
I think Unexpected Diplomacy, the all reputation gains are 10% faster, is a weird one.
It's nice to have, but eventually it just isn't useful.
It's useless, right? I think it's also something to note is that there is a so each of these effects have like a worth, like in points.
Yep.
And you can only have a max worth at a time. So you can't have like the 3 most worth ones at the same time because I'll exceed the maximum. You can have like a maximum of like 1,000 points, and like some of them, like the plus 500 health one is worth 500 points. So you can't have 3 things worth 500 points. So
which is good balance.
Right. You can't have the 3 most broken ones, which I assume 3 on here together are like god tier for combat, but not allowed. I think the plus 2% experience ones and the luck ones are probably the most useless.
Yeah.
Maybe rune crafting pouches because who rune crafts nowadays? But
I think Lingering Death is probably one of the best ones.
Lingering Death being which one?
Stunning your target refreshes your bleed effect.
That's a broken combat one, you see.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Death Note is also ridiculous. All guaranteed bones and demonic ash drops are automatically.
Yes, that's better than the upgraded Bone Crusher, which is crazy.
I wonder if some of these just outright kill existing items.
But you
like
have
the no longer drain your run energy.
Right.
Pouch protector rune crafting pouches never degrade. It's really it's interesting. Some of them are really unique, and some of them are really.
But the thing is, since you can't pick them all at the same time, you still have use for those other items when you're not using when you need other perks on, when you need other relics on.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are crazy, and I'm excited to see what. I'm curious if we unlock them all one by one. You're kind of like forced to pick the ones you unlocked first, or if you can unlock a lot of them at once and you can kind of pick there.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
I originally assumed you unlocked them by finding artifacts.
I think you probably do. Probably specific ones.
Yeah.
So then the question is, at what level can you get to which one? Because obviously you can't find all the artifacts at the first site. You gotta, if they're tied to certain artifacts, you might have to wait until you can get to the Warforge or whatever.
Well, and none of these were on the skill guide either, so I really don't know. Right?
We shall see, and we shall enjoy them. Anything else about archaeology? I think there's some like very small things, like obviously there's gonna be a grace period for Maxcape, and there's gonna be an elite scaling outfit that you earn by in-game activities. The cape looks really nice. I like the color scheme a lot.
Yeah, black and white's really good.
Can't believe we haven't done it before with Prey or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the pet looks really nice too.
Yes, it does. It's a mummy.
Although I don't think we're going to any sites with cultures that mummify people, which is kind of funny.
Well, Caridet.
Is Zerosians mummified?
No, but it is in the desert.
It's close to the desert, but it's not exactly the desert. So we'll see if there's any mummies in there. And at that point, I'll determine whether or not it's a lore fail.
Yeah.
Archaeology update of 2020. Calling it.
I'm super excited.
Just like how mining and smithing is the update of 2019.
Yeah, mining and smithing still amazing. I think the other big announcement out of this was the Quests sub-team.
Yes, so we're getting to Desperate Measures now.
Desperate Measures, City of Sentiston as an edge request. Yeah.
Right, so in the episodic team, which I thought was going to be kind of big, it seems like it's ridiculously big because in this schedule from Runefest, I think it looks like there might be like 4 sub-teams working on different things at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, and one of them is only making quests. which is
Yeah, what they said is they have an episodic sub-team currently dedicated to making quests. The other episodic sub-team will be dedicated to remaster.
right. And this is where I'm a little. I feel like the quest sub team has a lot more going on here than like they have Desperate Measures and the Azanaja quest, and the remaster team has Miscellanea. Like,
I think they just haven't announced any further
okay,
remasters.
because Miscellanea doesn't seem like that big of a remaster.
Because I think Miscellanea will be out within the next couple of months.
I'm gonna guess
Probably like February, March.
interesting. I'd guess April, just based on the timeline. Because I'd guess
I
January,
guess that makes sense.
February, March, April.
Yeah, if Desperate Measures sneaks in within the first couple months of the year, then yeah.
Desperate Measures development should start soon, if not now, I guess.
If it hasn't already.
Yeah. Right, because I think it's a lot of people from like the 120 Farm Herb is probably moving over to the episodic team, and that might be kind of where the beginning of the formations of that.
That would make sense.
Maybe even some of the archaeology team too.
But yeah, I'm excited for Desperate Measures. I'm actually really surprised they didn't talk more about what its stories.
Right, all we kind of learned was Carapax using machines in the volcano, and Hannibus will be here. That's about it.
What really surprises me is just like the Runefest icon was an exploding volcano on Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't even talk about how like that maybe that's something he's working on.
They talked more about City of Santistan than Desperate Measures.
Yep.
Which is, I thought was
surprised by that.
That's not even the next quest. So, and it's not even like Desperate Measures like the sequel to what's going on in the story right now. It's City of Santistan. We're not sure how it ties in yet, but it's part of the storyline. I'm sure Desperate Measures will reveal why it's important. But I have Mod Mark's Runefest lore story.
Mhm.
He's like recapping Slisky, Gothic, Six Age, Slisky's Endgame, Desperate Times, and then he's like, and now Carapax going back in time. Where would you go back in time? How about Santistan? Like, wait, why? I have no idea what was the connection here. How does this relate? But
unless,
it happened.
Unless Carapax going around pulling more things forward in time.
The way you describe the quest is like we're going on a heist, like steal all these artifacts from the different ages of Santistan.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I really don't know.
Maybe this helps, but I think we need Desperate Measures to explain why first.
I think so too.
So we'll see how maybe they just glossed over because it's a very spoilery concept for Desperate Measures.
Which makes sense.
But I mean, how hard would it be just to say, Carapax doing timey-wimey shit, you're going to be exploring Hannibus, which is, I guess, exactly what they said, but a little more.
I will point out, too, that they described Dishonor Among Thieves as a heisty quest and had a little more than that.
Yes. Yeah, had a lot before.
Had a lot more than that, so...
yeah, we'll see how Desperate Measures goes. I guess City of Santistan. Temple of Santistan.
But now that I'm looking at this, I understand why I thought Desperate Measures was after City of Santistan.
How come?
Because specifically as an edge request is listed as being worked on after Desperate Measures.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason I had it in my head that City of Santistan was coming first, and then Desperate Measures, and then as an edge request.
But City of Santistan is not being worked on by the same team.
Yep, exactly.
So even though there's a dedicated subquest team, there's also the ability for other teams to work on quests.
Which is excellent.
I think we'd only be getting 3 quests a year. So that looks...
That's quests.
That is quests.
We have a game jam starting in 2 days.
Yes, I'm curious what comes from that.
They mentioned something called bounty boards for that, so I'm interested.
That's not a game thing.
Is it not? Oh,
no.
It was listed alongside the collection log, so I assumed it was something in game.
No, that's an office thing where the top updates that people want other people to work on are put on there, and if people can pick them up.
Dang you, Sudi, for confusing me. How dare you write these amazing too long didn't watch and then
speaking of October,
gosh.
Is there a Halloween event?
Yes. According to Orion, because he's working on it.
Oh. Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, his Twitter bio specifically says working on a small update for October and then a large update for November.
I hope the Halloween event works well. I expect it to work.
Too. I trust Orion.
I'm curious what he'll go with, because I feel like it's either Zautak or
Broken Minds.
no, I don't think it's that.
Me either.
It might tie into farming.
That could be fun. Maybe like a special spooky player on farm.
Maybe put the event on that small island before we use it for the ranch, and then just
Ooh,
kind of sweep
that
it
would be
away after
cute.
that. You got the area. Why not? It's probably mapped out
like
very well with the update.
Maybe a Jurassic Park homage, like escaping from giant dinosaurs.
Dude, skeletal dinosaurs.
That'd be sick.
Bury them under the ground, dig them up with stuff. Never been done before.
What would we call those? Archaeologists, maybe?
Maybe. It sounds slightly fitting.
It's a good idea. It's a good word.
Maybe that could be a skill one day.
I hope so. That'd be.
And
I made up the word dungeoneering after all.
I know, right? Moving on. I guess we should talk about this pets will be worked on.
Oh yeah, yep. Pets.
This is part of the, I believe they said as initiative. They're going to expand the episodic team for a little bit so they can get ahead in updates. And this looks like one of those smaller updates they can work on with an expanded team. Just adding pets to everything. Pretty much, I think they listed off everything in the game. They said ports, which is the entire game to me. So,
Yep. Ports, farm, minigames, clue scrolls. Give me a bank standing pet.
I know, right? So we'll see how that
Please.
goes, and how crazy.
Just
some
let me
people
have a
go to get
banker
them.
follow me around.
I'm curious.
Tell other players on examine how many hours I've bank stood.
Do you think we'll have ports pets for each region in the Wushenko Isles?
Oh, that could be interesting. Encourage you to go back and run ports on those earlier ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a chance to get them from the voyages in those regions.
Yeah.
Could see it.
That'd be really cool. They could use some of the like weird animals, like the flying squid and all that.
Mhm.
They've already done the flying squid with Squeck, so never mind.
You could do. What is there left in the arc they haven't done yet? I don't think there's anything. I think they've made everything a pet.
Well, the flying squid, but again, Squeck.
They did that. They did Crablet. They did Spirit Dragons.
Yep.
Can I just get a monk they didn't do turtles yet.
Oh yeah. There's no pet turtle. There you go.
Turtles.
There it is, turtle.
Nailed
Which is
it.
extra funny because turtles weren't even in the original lore.
And the world is so much better for them to be there now.
Yes, it is. I agree.
And that will be done with a player competitions to come up with and decide which pets will be what and then made, which is neat.
I guess the last thing really to cover here is the core experience stuff.
Core experience stuff. I feel like I
canopy cutout, character silhouettes, interaction highlights, movement smoothing.
You skipped stuff, but
what did I skip?
You skipped Elder God Wars dungeon.
Oh yeah.
You skipped the Orphan Dig site.
Okay, we did mostly talk about the Elder God Wars dungeon, which is interesting.
It'll be a thing. It's interesting.
You have a picture and that's it.
You know what the interesting thing is? Picture. It's the only PVM update in the announcements.
That is actually really important, yeah.
It's mostly skilling quests, which I am surprised by. That's all I can say about that, though. I guess it's just surprising.
And my only other complaint about the Elder God Wars dungeon is while I expect it to be really good, I'm still disappointed that this is not Anachronia Underground.
Yeah.
We have so much stuff hinting at it, and we're still not going.
I'm curious if there's a lot to Desperate Measures that we're not being told about.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like if there's like extra content with it, like maybe Slayer, Boss, or whatever.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but it seems like that's being very hush-hushed right now.
Yep.
That's the next thing after archaeology to stay quiet about. Desperate Measures.
Yeah. You
have a name. You know Hannibus is in it. That's all you need.
And then, Orphan Dig site that also offers ancient potion making, feeding into 120.
Right, which will be a great way to bring back the big updates from earlier in the year, the herb lore and the archaeology and Anachronia, and a good time for all that. And hopefully
bringing it all together,
yeah. Keep us coming back for more Dragonkin lore. I think that might be it. I think we touched miscellaneous just enough, right?
Yeah.
It's being remastered. We want to see it be remastered. I think graphically it'll be nice to see. I think putting a very small quest in there would be very nice to see. I think maybe a new mechanic on top of whatever resource rebalancing stuff would be nice to see. Maybe like
I hope so.
a bartering with other clans for other resources. I don't know.
Maybe steal the needle and send your herbs back in time.
Back to when you were a noob and you get extra experience now. Yes, I'm into it.
You left your herb there for thousands of years and it's matured.
I think all else I can say on this is I'm surprised we're doing Miscellanea first. I feel like the Varrock love was there and that was going to be the first one.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with this being the first one. It seems like it's more like a smaller scale. We can see what's going on before like the big undertaking of Varrock, which has so much stuff in it. I think you've hit the point of that's all the content now.
Yeah, and then just core experience. They're even doing some experimental stuff like a faster tick rate and movement.
Yes, that looked very nice. I think personally I'm more excited for like the canopy cutouts and the silhouettes because I can see myself using that all the time and noticing it heavily. Like the tick rate thing I'll notice when I'm doing like combat. That's probably it.
That's actually a good point though, is there are some fights where like the environment interferes a little bit for like.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I think a lot of the engine stuff that was being worked on, the technical stuff was. I was not expecting much of it. Like after being blown away by all the content stuff, and then they're like, "Okay, we're doing technical stuff." And I'm like, "Well, it's not gonna be as good." I was still impressed. I was still up on the hype train. I'm not usually easily impressed by changing the texture on wood, but the metal actually looked really good in the material stuff. So even that
the movement smoothing actually really got me too. It's something you don't even really think about, but seeing the difference is massive.
These are big ones that I think people are usually, when they ask for technical improvements, they're asking for ridiculous stuff that's kind of impossible, like getting rid of ticks or getting rid of the grid system. But these small compromises definitely are still just as good in my eyes.
Yeah, well, and then they are playing with faster tick rate.
Faster, yes.
They specifically did say they don't know if they will ever have a release date, and they're very experimental.
But just proving that it's being.
But I'm still excited.
Still looks good. Still looks good. And before this is considered unfinished business in 2 years.
Exactly.
What's new? All right, I think we got through the RuneScape keynote. That was quite a lot.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Needless to say, we're both incredibly excited for 2020. This has inspired
this is their best Runefest yet.
I agree. This has inspired me to get back on the game and start earning cash for my premiere with Bonds, which I had fallen off a bit from this past couple months of not much going on with the game.
Yep. It's reinvigorated my interest.
And hopefully, either with the Halloween event or with next month, we can come back and still have great things to say about our expectations for the future and what we're seeing delivered on.
And I guess we'll try and do like an Anachronia recap as well. That's something we never got to touch. We'll see.
We'll do it while tending to our dinosaurs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or while we're hunting for dinosaur eggs.
Something like that.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
Sounds good. All right, so this has been our discussion on the RuneScape keynote for 2019. This has been Avernic.